Hi, and welcome back to the Healthy Rebel Speaks Out podcast. I'm Bonni London, your host, and Catharine Arnston is our special guest today, who we dove into anything you think you might possibly want to know about spirulina and chlorella, how you could use it as food, not just a supplement, to help with any chronic condition you might have. And if you're thinking about eating like an ancestral diet, well, you really can't get any more ancestral than spirulina and chlorella. So get ready for this mind expanding journey today as we dive in to everything to do with algae, health, and longevity. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Healthy Rebel Speaks Out. And today I am very excited because we're going to talk about something that is really huge to me, which is mitochondrial health, brain health, gut health, and also healthy aging. And to help us with this discussion, I am going to welcome Catharine Arnston, the founder, CEO, and Chief Scientific Officer of EnergyBits, makers behind the small but mighty algae tablets. Catharine is going to share her most recent findings on the potent superfoods in these energy bits and how they are simple but an effective solution to supporting your mitochondria and so much more. Well, welcome,
Well, thank
Catharine.
you, Bonnie. Yes, I'm so thrilled. It was so great to meet you at our conference in Arizona a few weeks ago, and now here I am sharing my 13 years of algae nutrition research with you and your community. And I hope everybody is relaxed because I'm going to give you quite a rapid tour so that you'll understand how you do not want to live one more day without adding spirulina and chlorella algae to your daily routine, because it will protect you in ways that you have no idea. But I'm here to share that with you and all the science behind it.
Well, wonderful. Could you just take a moment and explain how you got into this? Because clearly you're very passionate about it, but a little backstory.
Yeah, because you have to think algae, that's kind of an unusual area to be a specialist in. And I have to agree with you. And I tell people I didn't pick algae, it picked me. I live in Boston, but I'm actually Canadian. And 15 years ago, my younger sister, who I'm very close to in Canada, developed breast cancer. Now, I need everybody to know right away, she completely healed. She's been 13 years cancer free, and we celebrate that every year. But in the process, as she was preparing for her chemotherapy, her oncologist, which is a cancer specialist, told her she needed to change her diet to an alkaline diet to help with her healing. Now, the oncologist didn't tell her what an alkaline diet was or why specifically it was good for her. So my baby sister called me up just because I love her, and turns out I'm a good researcher. In fact, I'm going to be getting a PhD on all this. So I said, I have no idea what an alkaline diet is, but I will find out. And I did. It turned out to be mostly a plant-based diet, which means lots of vegetables. And the reason for that is because vegetables have things like chlorophyll and phytonutrients in them that have been proven to build your immune system. And because my sister was having chemotherapy, her oncologist wanted her to have the strongest possible immune system to help her recover. So I did some research on foods. She changed her diet. She did go through chemo, and she's still cancer-free 13 years later. But in the process of helping her, I started learning about plant-based nutrition. Now, this was, as I said, 15 years ago, and people weren't talking about plant-based nutrition like they are now. So as I learned so much about it, I thought, wow, this is pretty powerful. Somebody needs to tell the rest of the world about it. So I gave up my 25-year corporate career, went back to school, studied nutrition, and then I taught plant-based nutrition to people at corporations and hospitals. And this is what truly led me to algae. Because as I was giving my lectures on plant-based nutrition, people were telling me, oh, well, I know my mother's been trying to get me to eat vegetables since I was a kid, but it's too much work, or they give me gas, or they go bad quickly, or my kids won't eat them, or my husbands won't eat them. They take too long to cook. So I basically got all these reasons why people were not eating vegetables. So I thought, okay, I've seen the science. I know what alkaline green plant nutrition does. If I can't get people to eat more vegetables, I need to find some way to get the nutrition into them that's effortless. So it took a long time, but I finally got to algae, which was one of the things I'd found for my sister, because it turned out algae, as you'll find, is the most alkaline food in the world. So that box was checked. It's also the most nutrient dense food in the world. We have a quote from NASA that says 1 gram of algae, spirulina or chlorella, which we'll talk about today, has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of vegetables. 1 to 1,000. That's crazy. I'll explain why it's so concentrated in a minute. Algae's also been endorsed by the United Nations for 50 years as the answer to world hunger. Why? Because algae has the highest concentration of protein in the world. It has 3 times the amount of protein as steak. And it's also an eco-friendly, sustainable plant protein. So we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, could we
Algae,
just, oh,
I'm
I'm sorry,
sorry.
could you just explain now maybe a little bit for people who may not be familiar with what exactly is algae and
Yes,
the different kinds?
absolutely. So I just want to tell you 2 more things or 3 more
Okay.
things. So algae is a multi-billion-dollar agricultural crop. So number one, it is not a supplement. It is a food crop that's grown. We grow it in triple filtered spring mountain water. It's called hydroponically. This is how lettuce is grown, tomatoes. So A, it's not a supplement. B, it's a food grown in fresh water, and it's been used safely daily in Asia for, since the 60s. And it's documented in science. All the things I'm going to tell you about today are proven in 100,000 documents, scientific papers. So it turned out the only thing wrong with algae was that people like you didn't know what it was. And number two, the quality of what was available in America was poor. It was mostly grown from China. So that was 13 years ago. And that's when I started my company so I could help educate you and anyone in America what algae is, why it is so critical for you to maintain your health, regain your health, and how effortless it is to take. And here, this is the most important part of it all, because algae comes in these little tiny tablets about the size of a baby aspirin. This one's spirulina, this one's chlorella. So all you have to do is swallow a handful every day, and you will get the nourishment that you need without having to eat any vegetables. Each one of these
Well,
tablets is,
I love it. But you can blend it too. You could blend it in
you
a
can blend it
smoothie.
you can blend it in your smoothie, you just crush it up. I chew them, but they're very chewy because they have so much protein. But every single one of these little tablets has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables. And that was because I used that quote from NASA: 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of vegetables. So one
Right.
tablet equals literally a pound of vegetables. So while I'm standing here talking to you, I just had a pound of vegetables.
Wow,
How easy was
that
that?
was easy.
Right?
Who doesn't have time for that?
Right. So you can swallow it, you can chew it. Most people do swallow it, but if you took 5 or 10 tablets, we try to get you to start on 10 tablets, but you could start with 5. That's like having 5 or 10 pounds of vegetables that you didn't have to carry home from the grocery store, clean, cook, eat, throw away when nobody ate them, or even if they were in your fridge, they might go bad before you get to cook them. So it's effortless nutrition and no digestive distress. A lot of people, including myself, have issues digesting lots of fiber, like broccoli. There is 0 fiber in spirulina, 0. I'll tell you why in a minute. You can see the different colors. And chlorella has only a small amount of it, so enough to feed your gut biome, but not enough to give you distress. Our algae is special. In fact, it's called physician grade because we only sell it through our website, EnergyBits.com. And hold fast because we have a 20% discount code to share with you. And we also sell it through doctors, health practitioners like Bonni, cryotherapy centers. So very, very hands-on medical professionals, because it is such high quality. And you'll want the high quality when I tell you some of the things that the nutrients in our algae does, like prevent heart disease and help prevent cancer, as well as nourishing you and giving you all the protein you need to help prevent and nutrients that help prevent Alzheimer's, dementia. I mean, the list is endless. So it's, again, all based in science, but effortless. If you can swallow water, you can get the nutrition that you need in seconds. And I'll talk about the nutrient value in a minute because we sell them in large bags of 1,000 tablets. And I'll do the math for you. But if you took 10 tablets a day, that works out to $1 a day. $1 a day to get all the nourishment you want in seconds, and help you protect your health, regain your health, without any work at all. It's high value nutrition and it's effortless. And every single person in the world should be taking it because our food supply is so damaged that even if you are eating vegetables, you simply are not getting the nutrition that your grandparents did. So algae to the
I
rescue.
well, I love it. Now, can you explain the difference between spirulina and chlorella?
Absolutely. So first, I'll back up a little bit because, as I explained, algae is a food, and in fact, it was the first life on Earth 4 billion years ago. But there's two types of algae. One is called macroalgae, and the other one is microalgae. And today we're talking about microalgae. But let me help you understand what macroalgae is. It's that big stringy stuff that you see washing up on shore, also known as seaweed, dulse, or kelp. Now, seaweed is good for you because it has lots of fiber and it comes from the ocean, which is why it's called seaweed. So it has iodine in it. So lots of fiber, lots of iodine, but virtually no nutrition, but still good for you. We're not talking about macroalgae. We're talking today about microalgae, which is called microalgae because it's microscopic in size. And this is where the concentrated nutrition comes from. It is so tiny. That's why it's called micro. It's microscopic and it's everywhere. Macroalgae is only in the ocean. Microalgae is in the ocean, the lakes, the rivers, the streams, your aquarium, your swimming pool, the soil. And it's so tiny, you can get 1,000,000 of them on the head of a pin, right?
Wow.
Crazy. So when you consolidate them into these little tablets, you start to understand why there's so much nutrition in them. And microalgae has tens of thousands of strains, and the two that people know the most are spirulina and chlorella. And so I'm going to talk to you about what they are and what they do differently in your body, why you need both of them, and why I generally start people with spirulina, because it is the #1 most nourishing food in the world.
Okay.
You want me to dig in
Yeah,
there?
go
So,
ahead.
and as I mentioned earlier, it literally would cost you $1 a day because we sell them in these large bags that have 1,000 tablets. Normally, a bag is $130, but we have a 20% discount code for you that brings it down to about $100. And each bag has the same nutrition as 551 pounds of vegetables. Try to visualize that. That's like 30 or 40 grocery carts of vegetables that you didn't have to carry home from the grocery store, lug into your kitchen, clean, cook, eat, or even throw out when you didn't eat it. So very efficient nutrition. And if you took 10 tablets a day, again, that works out to $1 a day. It's not just your nutrition insurance, it's literally your health insurance, and you'll find out why. So spirulina, which is the blue packaging on our website, we call our spirulina EnergyBits. This is because spirulina is known to give you energy. It satisfies your hunger, it gives you mental energy, physical energy, and people use it for weight loss, for intermittent fasting, and generally you're hungry and tired in the morning. So that's when we generally recommend you take 5 or 10 of these tablets in the morning to give you some, get rid of your hunger. You could take a whole pouch if you wanted. There's 30 tablets. We sell them in little pouches. 30 tablets
Wow.
would be like lunch, and there's only 1 calorie per tablet. So if 30 calories, 30 calories, you can be full, not like spaghetti full, but you won't have hunger and you won't have fatigue and you won't have cravings for about 5 hours. That's pretty efficient. So the way it does it is because spirulina, as I mentioned, has the highest concentration of protein in the world. And I'm going to walk you through how to convert protein into aminos. So when you eat animal protein like chicken or fish or steak, the protein is all what's called bound up. into into something called amino acids, but it can take your body anywhere from 2 to 3 days to break down the protein into individual aminos, which then you can absorb so that your body can use it to repair cells and build muscle. Now, there's something called collagen, and it's in smaller clusters of aminos called peptides, and that gets absorbed faster. But the fastest is algae protein because it's already in individual aminos. So your body doesn't have to work to break down the protein to get access to the aminos. So this is why I call again, efficient nutrition. Now, to put that in context, I want to help you understand. If you
Mhm.
had about a fistful, the size of your fist is about 50 grams of chicken. Now, if you took 50 grams of chicken, it could take easily, as I said, 2 to 3 days for your body to break it down into those aminos. And most people are missing these intermediary steps. They're in nutrition language, we know what they mean. They're factors and cofactors and enzymes and coenzymes. But all you need to know is that your 50 grams of protein ultimately on average can only equal about 10 grams or 5 grams of aminos, because a lot of it gets wasted as it goes from protein to aminos. So you very often only end up with 10% as aminos. Now, with algae tablets, especially the spirulina, 30 tablets in one of these pouches has 5 grams of protein. But here's the great thing. That 5 grams of protein is equal to 5 grams of aminos. It's absolutely the same. Not like chicken, where you have 50 grams of chicken gives you 5 grams of aminos because you lose so much of it in the process of
So,
digestion.
so just
So
so we understand, so the 30 tablets could be considered the same amount as like 50 grams of protein, because
yes,
not all protein, because I think we are confused in this country with protein, because I mean we'll label, broccoli has 2 grams of protein and egg has 6 grams, and obviously that doesn't make any sense at all, because it doesn't take into consideration what you're talking about, which is the full amino acid profile, the ratios. And something else I want to talk about now too, with your product, is with aging, because of course, especially as we age, it becomes such a issue with absorption.
yes,
So, which is why we know that past the age of 65, we need to eat more protein, and part of it is that absorption. So this
right.
seems like this would really maybe help fill in those gaps, and I'm very excited.
Absolutely. By the way, I'm over 65, so I'm absolutely, if you're listening to this and you're over 65, I'm with you because I'm over 65 too. I'm actually 67. So I know from personal experience what how important protein is, particularly when you get it from a safe source like our spirulina algae. So to backtrack again, as you mentioned, Bonni, it's not just what you eat, it's what you absorb. And this is why spirulina is so fantastic for you. Not only does the 5 grams of protein equal 5 grams of aminos, whereas with chicken, you can get 50 grams of protein equaling only 5 grams because your body can't use protein. It's like, when you buy something at the grocery store and it's all wrapped up in plastic. Well, until you take the plastic off whatever you bought, you can't get what's inside. So, and if you can't get the plastic off, it's useless. Think of that animal protein the same way. If your body can't unwrap the aminos so that you can actually put them to work to build muscle, to build cells, it's useless for you. But this is where spirulina is so fantastic. First of all, it does not have a cellulose wall. So it's 99% bioavailable. So, or probably 99.999. And it's absorbed almost immediately, definitely immediately if you chew it, and within minutes if you swallow it. So it automatically gets absorbed. It's literally almost no digestion. So this is why we work with athletes. We work with people who don't even have a stomach. We work with gastric bypass patients because there is no stomach distress. This is absorbed so quickly and put efficiently to work. By the way, it has 18 of the 20 aminos, including the 9 that your body can't make. So it's a very, very good source of protein. I did some research recently. I was looking at the amino acid profile of mother's breast milk, and I thought, gosh, that looks awfully
Interesting.
familiar. So I looked at our amino acid profile of the spirulina, and it was virtually identical to mother's breast milk aminos, the same aminos in the same proportion. Now, we all know that mother's breast milk is considered the perfect food, and for good reason, because this is what feeds the baby during the first couple of years. Well, after year 2, you can't really get any mother's breast milk. So this is your next best thing because
It's
it's
not
virtually
typically.
the same food, same aminos, same proportions, and mother's breast milk feeds the baby's brain and the body, and this will feed you too. And I will send you, Bonnie, the scientific paper that shows the chart of the women's breast
Aminos,
milk
yes,
and the
because
aminos.
I'm big into that. But no, to me, this is I'd love you to elaborate more on gut health because this really is huge.
Yes. So just to dwell a bit more on spirulina, then I'll do chlorella because chlorella is really more for
Oh
gut
yes,
health, and
yes.
spirulina is best for energy, brain health, mitochondria health. And the reason why it's so important for brain health gets back to the story that there are nutrients in our spirulina, not everyone's because they use high heat to dry it, which kills these particular nutrients. But there are nutrients found in spirulina, an enzyme, an antioxidant called SOD, which protects and heals your mitochondria. Your mitochondria are the little cells, I can go into greater detail in it, in your cells that generate all of your cellular energy. It's called ATP. And you may not be familiar with this term, but this thing called cellular energy is what keeps you alive. It keeps your heart beating. It keeps your brain thinking. It keeps your eyes working. It keeps your immune system functioning. You need cellular energy for everything. But as you get older, your mitochondria get damaged or die. So there's less and less cellular energy for you to live. And the best analogy I can give you is that think of cellular energy as a pie, and maybe there's 1,000 people that want a slice of that pie. Well, they're all going to get a pretty tiny slice, right? Because 1,000 people and just one pie. Well, and so nobody's happy, everybody's grumpy, nobody's fed. Well, that's what happens in your body because you have 1,000 and more functions in your body, and they're all craving cellular energy. But if your body and your mitochondria aren't making enough, it's like having that one pie to feed 1,000 people. Nobody's happy. Nothing works well. Enter spirulina. This protects your mitochondria so they can generate more ATP. So suddenly it's like having 1,000 pies to feed 1,000 people. Now your brain gets all the energy it needs, so your brain fog goes away. Your immune system gets all the energy it needs, so all of your immune functions are working properly. It gives your skin all the nourishment that it needs so that it's vibrant and clear and wrinkle free. It helps your heartbeat work properly. It clears out junk in your colon. This is all because your mitochondria are functioning better. And it's like having suddenly more pie. I also make the analogy that
Mhm.
ATP cellular energy is like having more money. When you have more money,
Yep.
you can do more things, right? And you have more choices. When you have more cellular energy, you can do more things and you can have more choices, whether it's chasing after your grandkids or going golfing or lounging at the spa or driving. You just can do it better and more efficiently without any work. It just makes everything work more effortlessly. And I allude to the brain health piece because your brain has the highest amount of mitochondria per cell. There's 2 million of them per cell. So when your mitochondria start functioning better, as they will with our spirulina, not everybody's, but I'll explain why ours is the best, your brain starts working better. So think of spirulina as brain food. By the way, it also has essential fatty acids like omega-3. And we all know that things like salmon and fatty fishes are referred to as brain food. And why? It's because they have the omega-3s in them. Where do you think the fish get the omega-3 from? Algae. They get it from algae. So fatty fish
Is
is brain food.
now is it
So
both the
is spirulina.
EPA? Is it EPA and DHA or?
It's smaller quantities, but there's also other nutrients in there. Like there's actually an omega-6 that normally we would stay away from, called gamma linolenic acid. But this particular omega-6, when it's not heated like we do not dry our algae with high heat like everybody else does. It behaves like an omega-3. So it's anti-inflammatory, just like an omega-3. And to prove to you that this GLA is an important essential fatty acid, the only place where there is more of it than our spirulina is in mother's breast milk, right? Pretty
Okay, I'm
crazy, right?
convinced. There you
Mother
go.
Nature knows what she's doing. She's giving the baby all these important aminos and important essential fatty acids, and it's all in our algae as well. I actually refer to spirulina as Mother Nature's breast milk because it was the first life on Earth, and it was given to us by Mother Nature. We just grow it and dry it very carefully so we preserve all the nutrients so you can absorb the maximum benefit from all the nutrients that are in here. But it's Mother Nature's invention. So that's spirulina, nourishing, satisfies your hunger, helps with your brain, helps your mitochondria. The other algae we're going to talk about, this is why I want to mention the gut health, is chlorella. Chlorella is a green algae. There's a couple of spirulina in there. And so spirulina's claim to fame is it has the highest protein in the world. Chlorella has the highest chlorophyll in the world. As you know, chlorophyll is what makes plants green. But the problem is our soils are so damaged that even if you ate arugula and vegetables daily, there's virtually no chlorophyll in them anymore because the soils don't have the minerals in them, so the plants can't be as nourishing as they used to be. My arugula goes yellow after about day 3, and that's because there was virtually no chlorophyll in there in the beginning. Because and I live up in the Northeast, and the trees are starting to go yellow. That's because the sun is changing, and there's less chlorophyll in the leaves. So now they start turning yellow, and then they fall off. So when you don't have enough chlorophyll, the same thing literally is happening to your cells. They're shriveling up because they can't function properly. And chlorella changes that for you. It has 500 times more chlorophyll than arugula that I mentioned before, and it has 25 times more chlorophyll than liquid chlorophyll. Liquid chlorophyll tends to be made from alfalfa sprouts. So a lot of people are taking chlorophyll water, which is terrific, or chlorophyll drops, but don't cheat yourself because chlorella, which we call recovery bits, and I'll explain why in a minute, has more chlorophyll than those drops or the chlorophyll water. And in addition to the chlorophyll, chlorella has 60% protein, 40 vitamins and minerals, and some important nutrients like glutathione that help build your immune system and pull out toxins. So chlorophyll is number one for chlorella. And the other reason I want you to know about chlorophyll is because the chemical composition of chlorophyll is virtually identical to your hemoglobin, okay? They're virtually identical. The only difference is chlorophyll has magnesium in the middle and your blood has iron. That iron atom is what carries oxygen through your body. So what does chlorophyll do? Build your blood. So when you have healthy blood, you're going to have more nourishment to your brain, to your immune system, to your gut, to your heart. They used to give the injured liquid chlorophyll centuries ago because it would help them heal just as fast as a blood transfusion. So chlorella has the most chlorophyll and it builds your blood. Number 2, chlorophyll is a fat-based pigment. Why is that important? Because all of your cell walls are made of lipids, which is a fancy way of saying fats. And so you need healthy fats like omega-3 and D and E to keep them moist so that there's these little things called porins that allow nutrients in and toxins out. They're like windows that open in your house. So chlorophyll keeps those windows open so the nutrients can get in and toxins can get out. That's why if you do a cleanse with vegetable juice, a lot of the cleansing is coming from the fact that the chlorophyll is protecting your cell walls and allowing nutrients in and toxins out. So that's number 2 for chlorophyll. Builds your blood and protects your cell walls. Number 3, chlorophyll kills bacteria. Doctors have used it historically on cuts. It kills bacteria in your mouth, in your organs, in your colon, throughout your entire body. And a lot of people even only know algae as something that they see on the beach because it closed their beach and there's an algae bloom. Well, the algae gets the bum rap because algae only shows up when there's bacteria or toxins in the water. It's the cleanup crew. And it's the cleanup crew in your body too. So when you take chlorella algae, which we call recovery bits, it's cleaning up all the junk in your trunk, all the bacteria that shouldn't be there. And the most exciting thing is that it has a hard cell wall. Spirulina has none. Chlorella has the hardest in the plant kingdom. And that hard cell wall attaches to heavy metals, lead, mercury, radiation, aluminum. It also attaches to pesticides, glyphosate, molds, alcohol. If you drink any alcohol, wine, beer, it will pull it out of your bloodstream in an hour and a half. So this pulls out toxins that may be interfering with your health. And it does it naturally. And at the same time, it's cleansing your gut. It's building your blood. So it's very much a recovery algae. So, and it does have fiber. So it builds your gut biome at the same time. And your immune system, by the way, 80% of it is in your gut, in your lower intestine. And so this is very healing to your gut. Spirulina is very healing to your brain. Now, I came up with this analogy I hope you will appreciate, because I'm very determined to help people understand the difference between these two algae, spirulina, which is nourishing, and chlorella, which is cleansing. And I speak at conferences all around the country, and I usually stay in nice hotels. And it occurred to me that because spirulina gives you all the nourishment you need for the day, energizes you with good, healthy, plant-based protein and food, it's like having room service in your hotel room. You get everything you need for the day. So think of spirulina as room service. Now, chlorella is sort of like housekeeping, because housekeeping comes in later in the day and cleans out all the things that you don't want, empties your garbage can, and gets rid of the things that you have discarded. So does chlorella. And in fact, we recommend it before bed, because when you are sleeping, that's when your scrub-a-dub, your body goes through a cleansing detox cycle. So if you have chlorella in your system, you're going to get a better detox. You'll get rid of more aluminum from your brain. You'll be able to repair more cells. And it actually has the highest tryptophan in the world, which is a precursor to melatonin. So it actually helps you get into that deep sleep. And as you get older, getting a good sleep is more and more difficult. So chlorella is like housekeeping, cleans out all the junk in your trunk, stimulates peristalsis. As you get older, I know constipation is a big issue. This will help. And it's not a drug, and it's not even a supplement. It's just a very nourishing food that, and I call it intelligent food, because you have to be intelligent to take it, and it knows what to do in your body. This will heal your mitochondria and improve your brain function. This will pull out toxins and build your immune system and your gut health. And the two of them work together. Just to recap, as you can see, spirulina and chlorella do completely different things in your body. They're for different purposes. They help different things, whether it's your mitochondria or immune system. So it really is the best if you could take both of them each day. But generally, if you could only start with one, I always start people with spirulina. And ours is so safe, and we can get into that, and so pure and so concentrated that it's safe enough for newborns, pregnant moms, nursing moms, teenagers, grandparents, pets. Pets love our stuff. It's just want to forewarn you that if you give them some of these as a treat, they're going to be chasing you every time you open that bag, because they're going to want more. But now you can have a snack with your pet. How fabulous is that? It's very, very pet friendly. So they are amazing. And as I said, they're very concentrated nutrition, and really more than your nutritional insurance. They're truly your health insurance. But I help people understand that all algae is not the same. Growing algae You think, oh, how complicated can it be? It actually is very complicated. It's not like growing broccoli. Algae is more like growing wine. And it's first of all affected by the strains of algae that we use. And we use the highest quality, which means they have the highest concentration of proteins and nutrients. But then it's all about the production process. And in wine, it's the length of time it's in the vat and the whatever. With algae, we grow ours in triple filtered spring mountain water. We grow it in Taiwan. Now, this is really important because algae will absorb whatever's in the water. So that's why you don't want to even go near any of those algae blooms on your beach, because the algae, remember, it's the cleanup crew. It's killing bacteria and absorbing all the toxins. So it's not good for you. If algae is grown in fresh water or the oceans or lakes, it will have mycotoxins, which are nasty toxins that interfere with your brain functioning and your cell. So you just can't keep it out because it's everywhere.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, excuse me for interrupting, but the hydroponic, because I think that's a very important point, and everyone may not be aware of what hydroponic is, because this spring water that you're using does not get exposed to the outside at all. So maybe just explain that a little bit, because I think that's important.
Well, I use hydroponic just to help people understand that this is a farmed food, and it's farmed in fresh water. And some people know that lettuce and tomatoes are similarly grown in fresh water. It's to help you understand it's not from the ocean. Yes, there is algae in the ocean, but not ours. Ours is grown carefully in triple filtered spring mountain water. So you can completely, and we do third-party lab tests here in the United States at an FDA-approved lab. And we do another set of lab tests to test for mycotoxins. It took me 2 years, by the way, to find a lab that would do that, because it's a very, very specialized type of test. But this is indicative of everything we do at our company, why I'm so proud of our team and what we do, because we've gone the extra mile to protect you and ensure that you don't get toxins, that you're getting the maximum value. Because the other most important thing you need to know is that when you grow the algae, it takes about a month to grow. And then we scoop it up and air dry it without high heat into a powder. And then the powder is pressed into these little tablets that are about the size of a baby aspirin. By the way, we call them bits because they're bits of nutrition, bits of food, nothing else in there, just 100% spirulina, 100% chlorella. But when we're drying it, we don't use high heat. Why is that important, you may ask? Well, there are very important nutrients in both of the algae that are deactivated by high heat. So while they may be there, other companies use high heat because they are lower priced. Honestly, there's much lower priced algae than ours, but you are going to miss about 75% of the value because they use high heat to dry it, because they need to get to market quickly, and they need to do that. Because they need to sell more. They need to use high heat. And these critical nutrients are enzymes. They're antioxidants, but they're also enzymes. And these critical antioxidants are the ones that are protecting your mitochondria from free radical damage, so that you can have more ATP, so you have more pi to share with all of your body parts and your processes. But when you use high heat to dry it, it stops working. It's sort of like if you had a fire in your house and you called the fire department and the fire truck pulls up and you think, yay, I'm going to be saved. But then you don't have any water on the truck. So the truck is there, but the fireman can't do anything. So if you use high heat, as 99% of the other algae companies do to dry their algae, it's like having the fire truck pull up and not be able to do anything. The only other kind of thing we can recommend, particularly for spirulina, is what's called frozen spirulina, because again, it has not been exposed to high heat. So all these very protective antioxidants, like the one called SOD, are alive and well. The trouble with frozen spirulina is it tastes terrible. It expires quickly. You can't travel with it. It's very, very expensive. It's hard to find, number one. And with our algae tablets, they have a 3 to 4 year life expectancy, and actually they last forever. They're very easy to travel with. That's why we came up with these little travel pouches. and they're safe for everyone. So you still get all the benefits of having a raw food, because that's what ours are raw food. By the way, it's ketogenic, which means it has no carbs, does not decrease your ketones or increase your glucose. So if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, or if you are trying to cut out carbs, and I encourage you to do that, refined carbs. We're talking sugar, pastas, breads. There's no carbs, no sugar, no caffeine, no chemicals, 1 calorie per tablet. It's good if you're, as I mentioned, ketogenic, paleo. Paleo diets are all about the original ancestral foods. Well, you don't get any more ancestral than algae. It was the first life on Earth. It predated everything. And also, if you are a carnivore, good luck, because algae, this is good news rather, algae is great for carnivores. A lot of people go on a carnivore diet because they have they've had an autoimmune from eating plants, which may have lectins or oxalates. These are tiny proteins that are found in some plants, not all of them, but some. And if you're sensitive to them, they can cause punctures in your stomach lining and contribute to autoimmune. Now, you may say, well, I've never heard of lectins or oxalates. I'm going to tell you what they are. Plants evolutionarily had to protect themselves these are land plants from bugs or predators who might eat their berries or their flowers or their leaves. So they developed these things called lectins or oxalates, which are very bitter and cause stomach issues for the bugs and the animals. So they learn pretty quickly, those bugs and animals, not to eat that plant because it causes them stomach distress. And it causes the same thing in humans. But the good news is algae has never been a land plant. It came from the ocean. It hasn't got any lectins or oxalates. By the way, things like almonds are very high in oxalates. So you want to be, and spinach is very high, and kale is very high. And you think, oh, well, those are really healthy things. And they are, but if you're sensitive to lectins and oxalates, you want to eliminate those from your diet because they could be causing you problems and you aren't even aware of it. But algae has none. And very often with the chlorella, by the way, which is the green one, I eat it with pistachio nuts. By the way, pistachio nuts have one of the smallest amount of lectins and oxalates of all nuts. Macadamia nuts are also very good for you. So if you do choose to have a nut, I would recommend pistachios. My favorite is a vinegar and salt and vinegar flavor. So here you have something that can be for any food group: low carb, low fiber, paleo, keto, vegan, raw. Algae plays with everybody in the sandbox. It's universally a food that every single age group, every single lifestyle can benefit from, and literally zero downside, no drug interactions. If you're on medications, spirulina won't affect any of that. Chlorella is a detoxing, and if you have any metals in your medications sometimes, or like you're taking chemotherapy, just take it 2 hours after your chemotherapy to make sure your chemotherapy is working, and it will pull the excess chemotherapy out. But spirulina, no issues with that. And if you do have a health condition, by the way, whether it's cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, bad skin, bad digestion, we usually suggest 10 spirulina in the morning and 10 chlorella at night for nourishment and wellness. But if you have a health condition you're trying to correct, you should be taking at least 30, maybe more of these per day, and certainly 30 or more of these each evening until you get a clear diagnosis. I eat 3 times that myself anyways, every day and have for 13 years. It's like food. Think of it as nuts. You don't have one nut when you're hungry, right? You have a handful. So I don't want you to get overwhelmed at the prospect of having 10 or 20 or even 30 of these. Just think of them as nuts. And we have people that, when they watch movies late at night, this is what they nosh on instead of popcorn, because it's very nourishing and very, very healing. And at least ours are very safe and pure. As I said, I can't vouch for other companies. I just know that we have gone the distance to ensure your safety and the purity and the nutritional density, which is why we're the only algae company sold by doctors nationwide.
Do you have any stories you could share with us about some of your, happy customers?
Oh man, we get them every single day. We had an email a couple of days ago. A woman wrote us that she had been literally at her wit's end. She was so depressed. She was almost getting suicidal. She didn't know, she tried everything. She got our spirulina. Again, this is the one for brain health. She only took 3 tablets. She woke up the next morning and she said she's never felt so great. And it was like within 12 hours, right? And so then she took 10 the next day and she wrote us again. She said, I had the best sleep of my life. I got up feeling positive. And we actually did a clinical trial with a small group in Florida last year with some military veterans. And we only gave them a pouch of these a day, and their inflammation and the depression went away from food. Nothing, no drugs, nothing. So that's pretty cool. We had another a gentleman email us about 4 months ago, very significant Alzheimer's, terrible dementia. He wrote in his email, it got so bad, he couldn't remember his address. He couldn't make the microwave work. And his wife gave him, I think, 15 of these in the morning. And within 12 hours, his brain fog had completely cleared, and he was functioning normal again. So he's on this every day, which is terrific. We had another woman who emailed us a couple of months ago. She was 87. And she wrote us that she was incontinent. She couldn't sleep at night. She had no energy. So she started taking, I think she took, she may have taken 20 or 30 of these in the morning and this equal amount at night. And within 24 hours, she says, today I got up and I went to watch my grandson play basketball. I visited my friend in the nursing home. I came home and did a 3-mile walk. I just cleaned out my garage. I painted my kitchen, and I did all that with just these 30 tablets in the morning. And she says, now 6 o'clock, I think I might finally have some dinner. Oh, and by the way, I signed up for CrossFit. Oh, and she also said, my grocery bill has plummeted because this is so nourishing and is giving her all the food and nutrients that she needs. She doesn't need as many groceries. When you take spirulina, this can replace your multivitamin, your fish oil, your CoQ10, your biotin, and when you take the chlorella, this can replace your greens, vegetables. You never have to eat another vegetable again in your life if you're taking at least 10 of these a day. And this will also replace lots of your protein needs. If you're an athlete, your pre-workout fuel. This is your post-workout fuel, pulls out lactic acid. So there's a couple of them, but they're endless. We have people who've had acne all their life, and within a couple of weeks, the acne was completely gone. We've had people lose literally 20 pounds. In fact, one of my colleagues who joined us, he was diabetic, diabetes 2, and after a month, his doctor pulled him off all of his diabetes medicines, and he lost 12 pounds without even trying. So yeah, this stuff works. And as I said, I'm 67, and you can see my skin. I have,
and your hair is fantastic.
And no extensions, no Botox. I am living proof. I take no medications, 0. I take no other supplements, 0. I eat these all morning and afternoon. I'm sort of down to about 1 meal a day, and I do eat eggs, and I still eat a lot of plants. But I'm very careful with my food. I don't eat sugar, but this has made the difference for me. I run a company. I travel. I was home like 4 days last month, and Bonni knows because I met her at a conference, and then I've been at 3 conferences since I last saw her, and I'm going to one again next week. I speak at the conferences. I almost lost my voice last week because I had 3 conferences back to back, and of course everybody wants to talk to me, so I'm speaking for 12 hours for 3 days at a time. So I tell people it's never too late to feel great. And I am living proof that something as effortless and simple as spirulina and chlorella algae tablets, not everybody's, but ours, are the most effective, effortless way. Remember, I got into this because I'd seen the science about the nutrition of plants, but people were having a hard time allocating time to do the grocery shopping, to do the cooking, to do the eating, or they threw them out, or they had gas, or they weren't absorbing. This is your answer. This is given to us by Mother Nature. We just grow it very carefully and safely for you. It's literally fast food, but it's the right kind of fast food. And it may be new to you. I tell people, algae may be new to you, but it's not new. It's been around for centuries. The Egyptians used it 2,000 years ago. The Aztecs lived on it 250 years ago. It's been grown in Asia for 60 years. They take it every single day. It's been an ingredient in skincare, like La Mer, which is a very expensive skincare. But
oh yeah,
why just get it on your skin when you can ingest it, and it goes everywhere in your body? And like I say, it's effortless, never goes bad. 3 or 4 years is the expiry date, and safe for every single member of your family. It will save you time. It will save you money. Remember, $1 a day if you take 10 of the spirulina. We have them in pouches. You can take more. 30 is even better. As I said, if you have a health condition, you definitely want more. But and if you don't want to buy a large bag, but I'll give you that discount code now. It's Healthy Rebels, all one word, Healthy Rebels. Come to EnergyBits.com and use that in your discount code, not on the subscriptions, but individual. And we have large bags. We have really fun canisters that have this little opening. It comes with a bag inside it. You open the bag, put it into the canister, and then you just shake out the tablets into your hand. So it's really effortless. And then you just buy another bag when you run out. And if you don't want to buy a big quantity, you can go to Amazon, and these are $6 each. So just buy a couple of these, try them out, see if you like them.
How long after using them would you expect someone to feel different?
Well, with the spirulina, which is very nourishing and energizing, you'll feel your mental focus lift, your hunger be satisfied in 20 minutes, half an hour. You don't have to wait very long. And it's not a drug, so you don't have to take more the next time. But if you aren't feeling anything, just improve increase the quantity. Chlorella, because it's a wellness algae, you won't notice it as much, except you won't have colds anymore. And if you take, you'll need 30 for detox. 10 will build your immune system, but you're going to need more like 30 for detox. So if you take it after drinking wine, maybe you go golfing, you have a couple of cocktails after the golf, and as you get older, it's hard for your body to recover. Take 30 of these. Chew them or swallow them.
Antibiotics? What about people coming off antibiotics? That's always rough because it destroys
I know,
the
because you
gut.
get constipated, your gut biome is destroyed. This will feed your gut biome because it has fiber. It will help restore. It's like a prebiotic. So this is really great if you have any kind of constipation issues due to either eating too much processed food, or you're traveling, or you're on medications. This won't do the gut issue. This is the gut one. This is the brain and nourishment, mitochondria, energy. But you don't have to wait long to feel any benefits. And they'll last you. You need to take them every day, not just occasionally, every day, because our food supply is so damaged, you just aren't getting the nutrients you need. Remember, 1,000 times more nutrients than any other food in the world. This is a quote from NASA. They've been feeding it to the astronauts, for 50 years. When were they going to tell us, right? And again, backed by science. The scientists have known about this also for 50 years. But let's face it, scientists like to talk to other scientists. And so what I've done, I call myself a citizen scientist. I've gone into the science, pulled out the key pieces of information, and I try to communicate it to you in a way that you can understand. So think of this as room service, housekeeping, brain food, gut food. This is like giving your body, chlorella is like giving your body a shower from the inside every day. We have a shower on the outside. This is like taking a shower on the inside. We've got to get rid of those toxins. And then this is the nourishment that you need to protect your mitochondria. So
I love it.
Super couple.
Well, you have given us a lot to soak in and chew on, I guess.
Yes.
Is there anything else, I guess, at this moment, do you think that you want to share that we didn't say? I know you got
Yeah, just
information.
again, the whole, I know it's probably new to you. But I assure you, algae isn't new. It's the first life on Earth. And a few years ago, you may not have known about chia or kiwa or matcha or CBD or collagen powder. By the way, there's more collagen in algae than collagen powder. So just, you're welcome to come to our website, EnergyBits.com. Just read the blogs. We write a big blog every month, full of science, all referenced. I just want you to feel comfortable that we have really done our homework so that we can give you the very, very best nutrition so that you can protect your health, so you can see your grandkids grow up, that you can keep golfing with your circle and not worry about your nutrition and your health. Being healthy shouldn't be so much work. And if you have algae in your diet, it makes it a lot easier. So, but not algae, not everyone's is as good as ours. So just be cautious. And remember, $1 a day is all it takes to be healthy with our algae tablets. EnergyBits.com. And your discount code is Healthy Rebels.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And
thank you, Bonni. Thank you for all the...
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care.